Epstein probe. Joining us now is Democratic Congressman Subramanyam of Virginia. He is only one of two Democrats who were in the room for Bill Barr's deposition today. So hopefully you can share a little bit about what happened. And before we talk about Barr, I just want to get your reaction to the news I talked about with these files being shared publicly with some redactions.
Yeah, the reality is they need to release the full unredacted files, because what they seem to be doing instead is releasing piecemeal files that they want to release. And that's not the transparency that the American people deserve. That's not what was promised. That's not what was promised on the campaign trail all these years when they said that the files were being hidden from the American people, that there was something in the files that they needed to see. The reality is that back in February, the AG, Pam Bondi, said that she had the full files on her desk ready to release, and then somehow something changed. And I want to know what changed. And what I do know is Elon Musk tweeted out that the reason they hadn't been released was because the president was in the files. So I want to know what the president's involvement was in this. I want to know where it mentions him and why he's in it and how. And so we're not getting that with piecemeal releases of the files, because the attorney general right now is acting like the president's personal lawyer.
So you're not satisfied with how DOJ is responding to the subpoena?
Not at all, because they're just releasing what they want to release. That's the reality.
Have they hinted anything over yet? I know that Chairman Comer said it would be Friday, but...
Well, the deadline was today.
The deadline was today,
I
right.
haven't seen anything, certainly. I'm wondering whether they're going to release it to only members of the committee and not to the public either. There's a lot of questions to answer. I want to know what they're choosing to release and why they're choosing to release it in this sort of manner as well. Is it because of the volume of the case files that they have? I don't know. But what I do know is this isn't what they promised, which was a full unredacted file and any lists as well that people have been talking about for years now that were supposedly covered up under the previous administrations.
And then that memo from DOJ that said the case is closed, we're not releasing anything further. They said there is no client list and that Jeffrey Epstein did die by suicide. And you were in the deposition with Trump's former Attorney General Bill Barr, and you said that you have more questions now than you had before that meeting. What are those questions? Why did it leave you wondering?
Couple of things. One, I want to know why Alex Acosta was not subpoenaed. He was the prosecutor who was also part of the Trump administration later that let Jeffrey Epstein off the hook, essentially, with the sweetheart plea deal. I also want to know, the reality was the wrong AG was in the room, right? Pam Bondi needed to be the person we were actually talking to because she has the files. But, the fact is that nothing in that testimony really cleared the president, in my mind. What really needed to happen was we needed to hear from this current AG about what's going on. Instead, we got a lot of sort of discourse about what happened a while back. The reality is we didn't get any answers that we needed.
Do you think that Democrats should have been more outspoken during the Biden administration for the release? Obviously Democrats are much more vocal now, but perhaps under the Biden administration, you could have been more successful getting what you want.
Well, the message that was coming from the current AG, current FBI director and deputy FBI director was that there was a huge cover-up, right? And this was a campaign promise that we're going to release all of the files, right? And we're going to get to all those dirty Democratic politicians that were in it. But yet, we haven't seen the files. So why not? What happened? What's different? I'm all about, I'm new to Congress, so I wasn't here last year. But now that I'm here, I'll say that I want the files released. Even before some of this was happening, I wanted to see Pam Bondi release these files because the American people deserve that transparency.
During the Bill Barr deposition, is there anything that you can share with us that would be of interest to the American public?
What's the other side is saying is that this did not implicate the president in any way, that it cleared the president. That's simply not true. The reality is that Bill Barr, when he was Attorney General, he didn't have any special insight. The Southern District of New York was conducting this investigation. And so anything Bill Barr was saying was mostly conjecture related to whether the president was involved and his level of involvement. And so there was nothing in there that really cleared the president of any wrongdoing. I think until we have Pam Bondi and Alex Acosta to be able to testify, we're not going to get the answers that we really want. And
have you spoken to Chairman Comer about this?
We have asked him to include them in their subpoena list, and I'm going to continue to push for that.
And what kind of response are you getting in terms of why they are not included in this round of subpoenas?
The reality is I think this is becoming a partisan process. It started bipartisan. This started in a way where both Democrats and Republicans were looking for answers. But it seems like the Republicans are going back to their old habits of just holding holding the bag for the president and trying to help block and tackle for the president. And meanwhile, Democrats were the ones actually asking the tough questions in that testimony a couple of days ago. And the reality is that moving forward, it seems like Democrats are more interested in getting transparency and answers.
All right. So today, House Rules Committee Chairman Virginia Foxx said the committee's work may resolve the need for a major House vote in releasing the Epstein files. What do you think about that?
I'm up for a vote. If they want to put it to the vote, we can do that. I'm happy to do that.
Well, she said the committee's work, may resolve the need for one. That's what she's saying.
Perhaps, yeah.
Okay.
But I would love to have a vote. I'd love to see all the Republicans who were clamoring for these files to vote to release them. And I'd like to see the administration, which is also promising to release the files, actually release them.
All right, Congressman Subramanyam, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.